tiny white letter hurtling out of the dust and the ether, through stratosphere, atmosphere, layers of weather. Comet, a meteorite, spark from a star, seed coat, ovum, germhead, spore, from where the spooling darks of deep space are. The sea's blue huge, the sky's blue sliding away on a curve, and the hard earth rising at double the rate of the speed of the falling. It tugs in its wings, douses its fire, to land like a coin on the palm of her hand, get buried like treasure deep in the ground. Blackness below, sunlight above, to flourish on warmth, water, love.
Mary Agatha Clark, daughter, mill worker, wife, mother, departed this life before 40 in a narrow settle one freezing Sunday, was brought to the carding room aged 10 years old and walked home from her first day at work with dust in her eyelashes, as though she'd been sleeping on snow. In 1869, Mr. Dickens, his dear face familiar as the Queen's, put on a show for the female linen workers of the city at the Ulster Hall. And there they were, coughing, in shawls. He stood in an arc of gaslight, or strode backwards and forwards like a shuttling loop.
And then, when Marley and Marley arrived back from the dead to terrify old Ebenezer Scrooge,
Mary held her ravaged breath. Seventh daughter of a seventh daughter, Bridget Mary Clark had second sight, but she didn't believe it. Not until she worked for a Presbyterian minister in a house with bay windows off the Antrim Road. September 1914. She was 16. The whole empire on fire with war fever, and the two oldest sons enlisted right off the bat, brought to the foot of the stairs to curtsy her goodbye. Bridget could tell one of them wouldn't return by the way his face blurred at the edges, like he'd already been rubbed out.
With his two oldest brothers still away at the front, John Donaldson watched the dust motes fall through the windows of Rosemary Street Presbyterian Church while his father preached. In his first poem, he tried to describe the dust motes.
how they were there, but not there. Like the Holy Spirit descending and then ascending again.
By 1936, he thought poetry frivolous and signed himself up for the International Brigade. That second winter, stationed in the Catalonian mountains, he had never known such cold. But that didn't stop him writing poems against Franco as Barcelona burned.
She was a war bride, and the ring was war gold, barely thick enough to carry the inscription, "My heart with thee," but she didn't care. Not enough flowers inside the Georgian Church on Rosemary Street either, just James in his uniform. The next day he was off to the Battle of the Atlantic. She kept 2 letters all her life. The first:
Dear Mrs. Margaret Cunningham, the War Department regrets to inform you.
When the missus still felt strange. The second, a week later but delayed by months, was from James himself.
I know I'll come out of this alive because I've a reason to. What fellow ever had a better reason to than you?
Sean McConnell, oldest of 3, moved to a house in Turf Lodge with an inside bathroom when he was 14. Loved military history. Could recite the number of Spartans killed in the Battle of Thermopylae or the names of destroyers sunk in the Battle of the Atlantic like decades of the Rotary. First in his family to fly through university. Was 20 in 1966, hitchhiked to Istanbul in the summer of 67, and thought the hunger, the sleeping in doorways, and the filthy clothes worth it, as suddenly he beheld the Blue Mosque.
Christine McRae, forever the older sister. When the Beatles played the Ritz in 1963, she'd gone along to keep her baby sister Alice company. All those wee girls making Egypts of themselves. The last time Christine saw her sister was in the summer of '72. Alice had gone into town to buy herself a dress. A dress she would never wear. After that, whenever Christine heard the Beatles, she thought of the two of them at the concert and how she'd screamed all night long because she hadn't been able to help herself. It was electric. They'd finished with Twist and Shout.
Achim Jaworski, 34, first Polish officer in the police service of Northern Ireland, duties mostly ordinary. When he's not patrolling the Limestone Road, he swims in the New Grove Leisure Centre, where he turns the women's heads. In the Northern Wing Bar, in the company of 3 statues of Soviet revolutionary heroes, was asked a question by a Belfast woman he'd only been out with twice.
Will you marry me?
Said yes. They posed on the sandstone staircase of Belfast Castle for their wedding photographs. When their first child was born, they called her Grace. Grace Jaworski's great-great-great maternal grandfather, Sammy McComb, shipbuilder with Messrs Harland and Wolff, a gantry comedian, traded bawdy jokes with his workmates about riveting. Had seen Cissy Loftus, the mimetic marvel, sing Molly My Darling at the Alhambra Theatre of Varieties in 1899 and never forgotten it. Thought the rivets were like musical instruments, the clash and clatter of them, the rhythm to the white hot work. Met his wife Polly in a tea shop, persuaded her to have a second cup. Then, by 1912, no matter how loud the singing on stage, no matter how rowdy the audience,
no matter how many times I leaned in to explain, he couldn't hear a thing.
Not just the biggest, but the brightest ship on the planet. Electric baths, electric holding doors that close at the flick of a switch from the bridge, electric lifts. They'll be riding between decks in their ostrich feather hats, their walking sticks and spats, and all of it lit up like a Christmas tree in the middle of the black Atlantic. I heard them say 10,000 incandescent lamps at the finish. Lights in every room and passageway. Dimmer switches, frosted shades, lights like 1,000,000 candles reflected in the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles. And outside, under the stars, if stars there are, round skid lights the length and breadth of her. Like you could unstring them, stand them up end over end, and reach heaven. They've taken what we've drawn and made it shine.
In the beginning, a shining white letter, hurtling out of the dust and the ether, through stratosphere, atmosphere, layers of weather. A comet, a meteorite, a spark from a star, seed coat, ovum, germhead, spore, from where the spooling darks of deep space are. The sea's blue huge, the sky's blue sliding away on a curve, and the hard earth rising at double the rate of the speed of the falling. It tucks in its wings, douses its fire, to land like a coin on the palm of her hand, and get buried like treasure deep in the ground. Blackness below, sunlight above, to flourish on warmth, water, love. Deep in the ground, bewitched by her wishing, the letters unsettled, cracks open its casing and breaks into 2, into 4, into blooming, unmapped and unwitnessed, expanding, expanding. The cell in the dark womb splits. Finger by finger, like fretwork or frost, mothers make daughters who turn into hosts for their own sons and daughters, and for those daughters' ghosts. The river that runs through the city carries their mark. The giant come down from the mountain is gifted their work. Factories and furnaces, rope, motor parts, bolts of stiffened cloth that cover half the earth in linen's tracery, and a single magnificent ship. Avatar, princess, weather-bearer, mystic. He's gifted finer materials forged in invisible workshops, street songs and choruses, lullabies, flute music, poems scrolled in margins about blackbirds, myths. He's gifted postcards sent by husbands lost at sea, stories of gain, stories of ruin, stories of you and me. He's gifted the endless changing stream of letters and words that make us human, that cannot be believed, that a small child planted like a pomegranate seed and then hid her face in her sleeve. And the shaft that shatters everything is grace, longer than life, higher than space, 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 longer than life, higher than space. shatters everything is grace. Longer than life, higher than space. Longer than life, higher than space. Longer than life, higher than space.